Okay, well, for something a little more low-key and maybe even safer, you might want to visit the Belle Meade Mansion in Nashville through December 31st. They always have a fresh, new, old-time theme for the holiday season, well, like the one we experienced with the evolution of Christmas trees. There may not be a white Christmas here at the Belle Meade Plantation if you come during the holidays, but inside you can get a feeling for what a Tennessee Christmas was like during the 19th century. Plus, discover how that ever-popular Christmas tree evolved during 100 years of holidays.
If you want to move, as they finish, we will move into the plantation office and take a quick look in there.
Every year we have a different theme, and yes, of course, it is always a historical theme. Our time period here at Belle Meade is actually from 1807 to 1903, so all of our Christmas exhibits fit within that time period.
Curator Janet Hassan has been busy researching the way Christmas was during the mansion's heyday, particularly where the old Yuletide tree was concerned. By the way, they were virtually non-existent in the early 1800s.
The tradition actually goes back to the 1500s in Germany, and it came to America with the Hessian soldiers that fought in the Revolutionary War. But up until about 1840, not many American families had Christmas trees unless you happened to be a German immigrant.
By, let's say, 1830, non-Germans might have stuck a paltry little tree like this one in the corner. Sparse decorations would include candles and edibles like cookies and those very rare orange slices.
By the 1840s and 50s, trees were becoming more common here in the United States. Queen Victoria had a tree in England in the 1840s, and that tree was pictured in Godey's Ladies' Book, which was an American ladies magazine, in 1850. And after that, trees really caught on here in America. And this is a copy of Queen Victoria's tree. It, of course, still has edibles on it. We have little baskets that have candy in it and nuts and cookies. And they would have actually wired presents to the tree also at this time period.
During the Civil War and Union occupation, the family Christmas tree, if there was one, might have reflected the times as this one does.
We have some documentation that they put little Confederate flags on the trees down here, and also photographs of family members and friends who'd gone off to fight in the war. Cardinals are a symbol of good luck at Christmas time, and of course during the war you needed all the luck you could get. Well, this is our tree from the 1870s, 1880s, and notice it's not a tabletop tree, it's a large tree on the floor. It's still lit with candles. They hadn't gotten into electricity at that point in time. There are a number of hand-blown glass ornaments which would have been imported from Germany. F.W. Woolworth started importing them in the 1880s, and they became very plentiful and inexpensive, so the average family could afford them. And there are also a number of handmade ornaments made out of lithograph scrap pictures.
So by then, lithograph was able to make colored pictures like that.
That's right. They had perfected the technique.
Well, as time goes on, we get more stuff on the tree,
Exactly.
obviously, right? Well, let's keep moving along. You know, something's been really bothering me. With those real candles on the Christmas trees back then, how did they keep from burning the house down?
Well, they only lit the candles for a short while on Christmas morning, and then again on Twelfth night, and of course there will always be people nearby, and they kept a bucket of sand handy in case the tree caught on fire.
Sand. I feel better. Come on. Upstairs at the Belle Meade Mansion, there's a rare late 19th century tree made from dyed goose feathers. And in the nursery, a reenactment of an old-time tradition called the cobweb game.
Each child would have a different color yarn, and the yarn was woven in and out of the furniture, and it was tied to each child's gift. The child had to follow their color yarn to find their gifts.
Well, last but not least,
Yes, this is our early 1900s Christmas tree, and notice this one has electric lights on it, and they're string lights. The first tree to have electric lights was in 1882 in New York City, and that one had small light bulbs individually wired to the branches. It wasn't until the early 1900s that they figured out how to do string lights. And notice there's tinsel on the tree, and we have candy canes. This tree looks a lot more like the trees that we have today.
it sure does, and they didn't have to worry about the bucket of sand.
Of course not.
That's a good thing.
The mansion has daily tours that will take you back to the 1800s and to a time when Christmas was a more natural, less commercial affair. It's a chance to see how a Tennessee Christmas and its trees have progressed over the past couple of hundred years.